It's Joe Beya representing for 5, and the excitement is real this week. Why? Because Arsenal have recorded their first league win since the 1st of November. 3-1 win. Chelsea looked out of it. They looked baggy. Hey Rio, you ain't got no jokes for me this week, bruv. Tagged them on the IG. All of a sudden he went missing. I'll give you a break. I know you're spending time with the family, newborn and that. Congratulations.
Yes, guys, welcome back. Hope you've all had a fantastic Christmas. I've had a lovely Christmas. Loads of turkey, loads of lamb, loads of roast potatoes, a lot. Presents galore. Kids are buzzing. Newborn is here, happy. The missus is buzzing as well. So listen, I hope you had a good time. On to the new year. But listen, what a few games we've had this couple of days. Beautiful goals here and there. Too many draws, obviously. But listen, we'll get into it. Steve, what you got?
Right then, everybody, welcome back. This is 5 things that we learned watching the Premier League this weekend. In at number 1, defence costs United. Or at least that's what I think, anyway. Rio?
So, the defence costs Man United again. Got the lead, back to 2-1. Yes, there were chances missed, but when you get yourselves in front, later in the game, you've got to close the game out, simple as, and just Man United never managed to do it. In the end, the deflection, yes, it was. But in the box, the ball gets cut back like that. You've got to be first to it as a defender. You've got to at least get your foot on the ball, a block, tight to your man. I think they'll be disappointed with both goals. I think the first goal, I think McTominay got to do better. He's got to get out. Bailly's got to be screaming at him to get out. And then after that, Bailly's got to cover one of the sides of the goal.
All right, well, Rio thinks it was all down to the defence. I don't know what he knows about defending. Probably a little bit, at least, I would think. I personally thought it was more down to the defence. United led twice against Leicester at a King Power and quickly conceded 2 goals right after taking the lead. Obviously, the game ends 2-2. Frustration, because it's now ended United's 10-match winning run in the Premier League away from home. And once again, I thought, once again at least, down to defensive frailties. Not keeping enough clean sheets. Harvey Barnes' equaliser was a hell of a long-range strike, but United were far too passive and allowing him the space. Didn't get closed down by McTominay. De Gea maybe could have got a hand to it. Just poor clearing of the lines from the back. The defending was far worse for the second one that Leicester scored. You know, problems arise yet again from a ball coming into the box. Right, Rio, United have got the second best attack in the Premier League, but we've got the 13th best defence. As a defender, what are you doing to improve that? I remember those mid-noughties. I remember what United were like prior to bringing in Evra, Vidic, Carrick. It feels a little bit similar to that to me. And I know you was in that team, and I know it got improved once we got players around them. Do you think United just need to sign more players that are of the same level? Or is this something fixable with coaching?
Steve, it's a good point. I know what you're saying, but listen, sometimes you can't just keep churning out checkbook after checkbook, buying player after player. Sometimes it's down to the coaching and analysing things and looking at the finer details. And I'm not saying that the coaching staff aren't doing that at Man United, because I know that they're doing that. But sometimes there are little nuances, there are little things that you think about that you might you forget or you don't think about at a time. And it's crazy because you asked that question because Edwin van der Sar texted me or during the game when the goal went in, when McTominay didn't go out and close him down and Bailly was behind him. And it took me back to really when we used to play, and I would always say to Edwin, when you see me going out to someone 1v1 or on the edge of the box, I'll try and stand in a certain place. Wherever I stand, you stand opposite to it. You react off where I stand. So if I'm going out to say, I don't know, Fernando Torres on the edge of the box, I know he's right-footed, and I'm going to make sure that he can't hit it back between my legs. Yeah. So you can go that way. You can go down to the right-hand side and keep pushing to the right-hand side a bit, and then get your shot off. But I'm going to allow you to shoot near post. That's fine. But you're not going to go back through my legs. I'm going to block that. And I'll say to him, if it goes through my legs and goes through, then hopefully you save it. If it doesn't, it's down to me. I take full responsibility. And that's the conversations that we're having. And that's what players need to do. You need to create relationships. You need to talk off the pitch before you go on. If this situation happens, this is what I'm going to do. React off it this way. So no stones left unturned. It's in the detail. You win 3 points with detail sometimes. You go in with 1 point or no points because you didn't concentrate or find out about the finer details and make sure you both was on the same page. And it's about working in twos, in pairs, in threes, in quartets sometimes. It's about working together in little units on the pitch and getting a good understanding of each other. And listen, all these players nowadays, you can tell the way that they play, you've been to their training grounds, you see it, they're all well drilled as teams. All got a game plan, all follow a game plan, all work toward what the manager wants and what the staff want. That's fine, that's great. But sometimes you need a bit more than that. There is a finer detail in the games that are going to get you over the line, and you just need to be really diligent in doing that as a team. And sometimes it's not down to the manager and not down to the coaches, it's down to you as a player to start asking questions and to start pulling people to the side and saying, we're going to do this because it's going to make it easier for you, and I'm going to stand it and you're going to react off me, etc. Take leadership, take ownership of situations, simple as that.
Let's talk about Man United's 2-2 draw with Leicester City. And I'll be real with you. Man United should be winning those games. Forget last season. The season before that, Man City beat Liverpool by 1 point. It shows that at that end of the table, it can get real tight up there. Firstly, great goal by Marcus Rashford. Fantastic finish. But then a few minutes later, Barnes goes and scores a goal. And to be quite frank, it was because of Bruno in my eyes. He shouldn't be trying to nutmeg a player so close to his box. Those silly mistakes there puts your defence under pressure, and a good team like Leicester, bam, they'll take their chance. Then again, later on in the match, Bruno Fernandes looks like he secured the win. What did Man United do a few minutes later? They let Jamie Vardy get in the box. Great movement by him. Went inside, stepped outside to create the space, and he finishes. You know he's going to eat that all day long. They need to keep it tight and see off them games.
United have got the worst defensive record out of teams in the top half of the table. And that inconsistency is going to keep showing up until it's addressed, I think. As the saying goes, attack wins you games, but defence wins you championships. I don't think we've got a championship winning defence. In at number 2, Arsenal win a London derby. What? This can't be right. So Arsenal ended up a 7-match winless run, beating Chelsea 3-1. Joel, how do you feel about that?
I'm so glad that the young boys stepped it up. Martinelli, Saka, Kieran Tierney, Emile Smith-Rowe. Fantastic performance by them. You know, big shout out to Xhaka as well. A very good free kick. A lot of the times, the more senior players, they get comfortable. And that's been happening at Arsenal for a long time. Back in our day, right, the good days, if you didn't have Thierry Henry, you had Wiltord. If you didn't have Perez, you had Youngberg. If you didn't have Gilberto Silva, you had Edu. I know that's given a lot of the senior players something to think about. Frank Lampard, after spending 200 mil, you can't be losing to that Arsenal side like that, man. He should have started Giroud as well. I don't think Timo Werner's been up to scratch. If he's not doing the job, you've got to put in the guy that's doing the business.
Arsenal win the London derby against Chelsea. Who would have thought it? Listen, wow. I mean, I was backing Frank Lampard and Chelsea to win this game. I didn't see Arsenal getting a result here at all. I just thought Chelsea, I've seen them, I've seen a lot of them, seen a bit of Arsenal this year live, both teams. I didn't think Arsenal had enough. Aubameyang not in form, not playing. But what I will say is I watched Martinelli at Bournemouth away last season, him and Saka together, and they have a link up, they have a relationship that's already there that I think in years to come will be a scary relationship, they work so well together, and Tierney as well on that left hand side backing it up. But Martinelli, I have to say, is going to be a tremendous footballer, top player. He's come back into this team and he is showing what all the fuss was about before. Chelsea away at Stamford Bridge, remember that goal from the edge of his box, running the length of the pitch, bang, goal, cool as you like. He's going to be a huge player, massive talent, and I'm just hoping he can stay fit. That's all he needs. He's been injured, that's the biggest thing. But Saka, again, him as well, he's been, actually Xhaka, he's been hammered by everybody. What a free kick, by the way. But I thought Chelsea, like Frank said after, I think he summed it up perfectly. They didn't turn up. They weren't at the races. And London derbies have to be taken seriously. They have to be looked at like real big games. And the festive period was here, and Chelsea seemed to be the team giving out presents. And to be fair, I've given Joel a bit of stick over the last few weeks because Arsenal have been getting beat, they've been getting battered. But I have to calm down and give credit when it's due. Arsenal, well done. Mikel Arteta, well played.
And now the win didn't lift Arsenal any higher than 15th. And you have got Big Sam coming up to you soon, son, so pay attention. They've now won each of their last 10 Premier League home games on Boxing Day. Hooray! And it's the second best run in the competition history after United have won 12 in a row from 97 to 2016. 3 of Arsenal's 5 league wins this season have come in London derbies, and it's a result that should give them a little bit of confidence. And they've got, let's be honest, you've got 2 teams that are in and around you. If you win, you're going to make some room. If you lose, though, Joel, if West Brom and Brighton take points off you, admit it, you're in a relegation battle. In number 3, Everton's Merry Christmas. Gylfi Sigurdsson's late goal was enough to inflict more pain on Sheffield United, who actually were pretty good against Everton. And the win ensured that Everton finished Boxing Day in 2nd place in the Premier League. How mad is that? Carlo Ancelotti's side are well and truly back on track for a sensational season. And you've got to bear in mind that this is without Luka Dean and also Rodriguez through injury. Everton now achieved 2 runs of 4 successive wins in the same league season for the first time since 1986-87. Oh my God.
Everton's Merry Christmas. Wow. They are on absolute fire. They are the form team. They're just producing result after result after result. I think the way that they're playing, they've got a belief. I think everything stems from the foundation that they've set at the back. They've been unfortunate with injuries to the 2 fullbacks who were mainstays, great players, Coleman and Digne, and then they put 2 centre-halves at right back and left back, and they've been absolutely magnificent. Michael Keane has been tremendous, Mina, goals, and defended ever so well as well. And in front of that, Alan, who I think has been one of the standout players who's been out, but they've seemed to just work with it. And him and Harris have been out with Howson as well this last game. So 3 of their better players are out, and definitely 2 of their most creative players, definitely, haven't been in the team. But they've still been churning result after result out, and Carlo Ancelotti have to be delighted with what's going on. What the big question is now is a January window's coming now, and we know that the owners and the people that run Everton have the cash. Will they smell something and think, if we put a bit of money into this, we could actually do something really great this season for Everton Football Club? That is the conundrum they're in. Do we go for it? Do we spend a bit more money and invest? Or do we say we're going to go with what we've got? Because they're picking up injuries, that's the problem. It's not a squad with huge depth, but I'm sure he'll be delighted with what he's got out of his team. Dominic Calvert-Lewin didn't score in the last game, but he's still a handful to play against, whether he gets goals or not. But again, I think the credit has to go to the back 4, the way that they've performed. I think Davis has come in when he's played as well, been tremendous as well. But Everton look a real good team. We've got the bit between their teeth. If they had fans at Goodison now, the way that they're playing at the moment, that rough, aggressive type of football, no stone left unturned, getting up against people, difficult place to go. Everton, I think they're going to be about for a while. I don't think they're a team that's just going to just hit a little bit of form and fall away. I think they'll be around in the top 8 definitely for the rest of the season.
Number 4, Big Sam strikes again. I was telling anybody that would listen, Big Sam, Anfield, he's looked at that and he's gone, that's what we need to do. The first game for him was too soon, too new to all the players. That game at Anfield was the perfect opportunity for him to strike. Doesn't matter how much possession you have, doesn't matter how many shots you have, what territory you have. All that matters is how many times you can stick it in the back of the net. And if you can only do that the same amount of times as Big Sam's bag is, then you're only getting a point, Jurgen. Liverpool haven't lost at Anfield since, when was it? Oh, Sam Allardyce took Crystal Palace there and won 2-1 in April 2017. Now, Allardyce has unbeaten his last 3 visits to the stadium, drawing 2 and winning 1. Now, the result did act as a bit of a reminder that this season is set to be the most unpredictable in a very long time. And while the chasing pack are picking up points, Liverpool needs to be looking over their shoulders.
Welcome back, Big Bad Sam. Wow, listen, this guy does it. He's been called upon numerous times before to come and put out fires for football clubs and get them out of relegation trouble, and this guy just knows how to do it. He's been sitting at his house, sitting there, his legs up, waiting for the phone to go. He knows he's going to go. He knows, because he's the man to get clubs out of trouble. West Brom have rung the bell and said, Big Sam, Fireman Sam, come in, help us out. First game, Anfield away, not a problem. I'll get Sammy Lee out of the dugout. He'll be in the little box there. Won't sit down for 90 minutes. Barking, the little terrier. And I'll be behind the scenes saying they're looking cool as you like, understanding what needs to be done and getting these boys playing. Like it or you don't like it the way he plays football, the man gets results. These boys at West Brom, They want to stay in the Premier League, and there ain't anyone at the moment better with a better track record of keeping teams in the Premier League. So good luck to West Brom. I think it's a very shrewd announcement in terms of giving him the job, because based on his track record, I think the guys behind the scene there at West Brom done a good job in getting him. So listen, it's going to be interesting. Whatever you like or you don't like about Big Sam, he does make it interesting, and he ain't a bad man after a game in the press conference either. So we'll watch for the quotes.
Big Sam strikes again. West Brom starting with a 2-7-1 formation. It looked like Liverpool were going to cruise to victory when Sadio Mane took on that great chest, great finish goal. Semi Ajayi had other plans. Do you think Big Sam is going to keep them up? Personally, I think they're going down, but you just never know with that guy.
And finally then, number 5, Spurs away slump continues.
And Spurs, that away slump. There's still time for Jose to fix things up. If he doesn't fix up soon, he could be losing top 4, let alone the chance of winning the league itself. Make sure you stay tuned for 2021. You guys will be involved in these videos. Back over to you, Howson and Rio.
I watched the game and I was sitting there thinking, I can see that. I can see him conceding a goal here. I can just see it. It's just the way it goes. They go up, 1-0 up, and Ndombele has been, this season, he's shown why such a big price tag was behind his name. His feet are beautiful, playground footballer. The ball comes into him, 1 or 2 players marking, doesn't care, got a little bit of a shimmy, gets out of trouble all the time, always looking to try and hurt teams, and he got a good goal yesterday. But I just see the way that they play Spurs at the moment. They score and then they kind of sit back, and you can see that it's not natural to some of the players, but I understand. Listen, I think Jose Mourinho will be sitting there saying, listen, this is the way we've got to play at the moment. This is the way that my teams play. This is what's going to get us over the line. This is what's going to make us a team that can contend for the Champions League properly. And anything else above that's a bonus. I think they were sitting pretty at the top of the table for a couple of days or a week or whatever it was. And obviously since then, they've kind of fell down the table a bit. But I don't think it's anything to panic about. I see a team there that know how the manager wants to play, and they look a well-drilled team. Just set piece, sometimes that can happen, and if you're not at the races at set pieces, you do get punished. A lot of big important goals get scored there. So they've done what they wanted to do. They was going to go and nick a 1-0 away game, but you've got to get, again, the details. You've got to mark people at corners and be resolute. You've got to be hard to run against and hard get up against people, and they didn't do that on that one set piece, and they got punished, and that's the name of the game. But they look like a Jose team at the moment. They get a goal in front, they protect it, they look solid. And this one, they didn't manage to get over the line.
Mourinho reverted back to his old ways. And how many times have we seen this? Where Mourinho goes and just stinks the place out, takes an early lead, parks the bus. And that's what he did at Molineux before Wolves secured an absolutely well-deserved late equaliser. Now, since the North London derby at the start of the month, Spurs are now on a 4-match winless streak in the Premier League. They sit in 5th, 6 points off the top after what they did look, let's be honest, like title challengers at least at one point. Now, they've got home games against Fulham and Leeds. You do expect them to pick up maximum points in those in the next few days. Mourinho probably sees them as must-win fixtures. And if they do win them, Spurs could be right back in the mix, looking at how often everybody else is dropping points. Righty then, that's it from me, from Rio, and from, for a change, a happy Joel. I'm not sure I like that. Let us know in the comments, what did you see this weekend? And who do you think is going to be the leader of the pack, should we say? I don't think anyone's overtaking Liverpool just yet, but who's going to be top of the tree by this time next week? Let us know in the comments. I'll see you in a bit.